For those of you who are new to promises, I wanted to put together a quick refresher to explain exactly what promises do. You see over here in the function app, the component, we have a const myPromise, and this is equal to a new promise. New promise is a keyword. It's a keyword that is used to define a promise. Now, a promise is kind of like a binding contract. You're promising that you're going to get something back in the future. And so it's a very simple interface. You say new promise. This will return a function internally that has a resolve and a reject function. And then if we hit resolve, we'll return my local promise result. And if we do myPromise.then, in the inner function, in the inside, it defines a function, right? This function in the .then returns us the result that we were promised to get back at a later phase. And so over here we can see local promise, my local promise result. And this is the basic interaction that promises do for us. It's a promise that something will come back in the future. Now, to that extent, we're using local promises to resolve local variables, right? Here, we're not really getting anything from anywhere externally. Now, there are certain functions out there that work with promises. Fetch is one of them. Fetch is a standard that is built into every browser. And what Fetch does is it is an interface around promises that wraps the ability to talk to external APIs. So if we did, for instance, fetch http://jaceholder.typecode.com todos 1, and we did .then, then our response would come back as a JSON object. A JSON object is a simple JavaScript object that returns properties. Now, anytime we're fetching JSON, when it's returned in a JSON format, we'll do the following interaction. We'll do a .then response equals response.json to parse the JSON. And then we'll do another .then where we get our actual response and then console log out the response. So here you can see that I'm getting to-dos number 1 from jsonplaceholder.com. And in my logs here, you can see that that returns me a user ID, an ID, a title, and a completed. So this is the basic interaction of how promises interact and how we can use them to call external services. And that's our quick refresher on promises.